East meets West this summer on the Breaking Script podcast with Lala and Nini.
We are finally diving into the captivating realm of Asian dramas before returning to our first love, the highly anticipated countdown to Christmas Hallmark movies.
Come along as we look for glimmers and more in Asian pop culture storytelling and Hallmark summer movies.
Hi, this is Nini, and if you're new here, the Breaking Script podcast is hosted by sister-in-laws on a mission to spread joy and glimmers, which are the opposite of triggers, while offering ways to open your polyvagal windows of tolerance through watching Hallmark movies, and officially this summer is Asian dramas and shows. We have 4 unique segments that give you a guide to review, or what we like to call Break Script, with the healthy and unhealthy romantic and family relationships, as well as unhealthy and healthy behaviors in these movies. For Hallmark movies and Asian dramas, the 4 segments are I, What's Love Got to Do with It? Yeah, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls, where sometimes the Omo Omo Nardar comes out, and Aigu Oi with the poodles already, and our last segment of Jayo Paiting Happily Ever After. With a touch of mental health advocacy and satire, we like to sprinkle in terms from polyvagal theory, neuroscience, and trauma-informed positive psychology, and more, to encourage mindfulness, inner healing, soul care, and we even talk about different somatic resources that have been very helpful to us. Some of our most popular episodes have been ones where we talk about covert abuse or narcissistic abuse recovery. And yes, believe it or not, you really can find these often in Hallmark movies. But we don't like to take ourselves too seriously around here. We love to laugh, and if there's anything I'm good at, it's laughing through drama and the recovery work it takes to get through it. So if you're on a healing or recovery journey, we just want you to know that you're not alone and encourage you along the way and give you something light and fluffy to listen to. Today's movie is The Dancing Detective, A Deadly Tango, starring Lacey Chabert, who is the Queen of Hallmark / Christmas, and Will Kemp, which first premiered on June 2nd, 2023 on the Hallmark Mystery Channel. We don't have a summary for you today, but a short synopsis is that Constant Bailey is a no-nonsense detective who prefers to work alone. When a high-profile CEO is murdered on the eve of his company's corporate event in Malta, a high-stakes ballroom competition between senior executives, Detective Bailey is sent undercover as one of the contestants. The only problem? She can't dance. To convincingly compete, she must team up with a charismatic and free-spirited performer, Sebastian Moore, of course played by none other than Will Kemp, but with a killer on the loose and a growing list of suspects, and they aren't kidding with that one. It is a long list of suspects. It's going to take more than a little fancy footwork to solve this case. This movie is on Hallmark Movies Now with 0 commercials, but you'll be able to catch it live on the Hallmark Channel again in June. We always put when the movies air again in the show notes, so be sure to check there. You've heard our guest host today on 2 other podcast episodes, Breaking Script with Winter and Vale and Tipline Mysteries. So let's get this episode with our returning special guest host started. Welcome back to the Breaking Script podcast. I'm Nini.
And I'm NaNa.
And surprise! Did you catch our surprise Boba Break episode on Tuesday? I don't think NaNa even knew that. We did a Boba Break episode with Aunt Lala. It's airing a month late. So you get a treat. Instead of just 2 Boba Breaks this month, you get a Boba Break every Tuesday. And I think NaNa might be doing a couple with me. She's very excited. Her eyebrows are going up. Because the ones I do with NaNa, we will actually either get some food or actually be drinking boba, low-key, not full-on ASMR, but low-key just a little bit for those that like that. The first Boba Breaks was all about ice hotels. Would you like to go to an ice hotel with me sometime?
Yes.
Because Aunt Lala doesn't want to go to an ice hotel.
What?
I love watching ice hotel movies in the summer. They're airing, by the way. There was one that aired on Tuesday. Baby, it's cold inside. So you can still catch that if you have friendly TV. You can go back and still record that, even though it was 2 days ago. But my favorite one was Winter Castle. Do you remember watching that one? I think you did, but you weren't quite into Hallmark movies yet. I think I watched it with your sister. Because the character in that was Nathan from When Calls the Heart.
I hate it when, the characters from When Calls the Heart goes into different movies. I'm like, it doesn't suit them.
What? Because you love some of them.
Some of them, but some of them...
You didn't like Blind Date Book Club. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, there are more Boba Breaks coming. Stay tuned. But today's movie, we already told you about, so we're just going to dive right ahead into the ratings. You ready for this?
No.
Okay. Well, we like to give boba ratings because we love boba, 0 to 10 scale here. And we like to rate 4 things. We like to rate the writing, how well the storyline is, the characters, how much they're developed, how interested we were and cared, what happens to them. Number 3, laughs, how funny it was. And number 4, an overall rating. So go ahead, Nana. What did you give this one for writing?
Okay, for writing, I gave it a 6 or 7.
A 6 or a 7?
Yeah. It was pretty good, but everyone looked and, like, was guilty. It was like everyone was guilty.
Well, we have... Here's the thing.
Confused my brain.
My rating was affected because I was comparing this to Catch a Spy.
Oh,
And that
this
writing
one was
for the mystery was so much better, right?
This one's so much better.
This one was better than To Catch a Spy?
To Catch a Spy. Is that the one that I watched before this? And
Yes,
just
because
chose
they were
this
both
one?
in Malta. We watched all the ones that were in Malta because we... You didn't like To Catch a Spy?
No.
You told me the mystery is so good, you just didn't want to break script with it.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking For Love and Honey.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that
No,
one. I
That
didn't.
wasn't a mystery. Well, I mean, they were like Indiana Jones, which I think is really funny because do you remember what other movie you've seen before that was set in Malta?
I've seen so many
first
Malta movies.
Movie that is not Hallmark that you ever had. The first time you ever heard of the country Malta. What was it from?
I don't
just
know.
watched it last week.
Last week.
So my
that's a long
children
ways.
enjoy watching movies that they watched as like really young, that they haven't watched in a long time. Now as preteens and teenagers, they're like, oh, it hits different. I understand now.
Oh yeah.
And so
that happens a lot.
Samson's hairbrush from VeggieTales was in Malta.
What?
Her eyes just went big. That's where they were. They were in Malta. Anyways, so the writing for this one, because of the fact that we'd watched so many Malta movies, including VeggieTales, this one gets a 6 for me. Which I feel like your ratings have gone down since we started. All right. Characters. Did you know that both Lacey Chabert and Will Kemp, who played the leads in this movie,
Yeah.
Sebastian and Bailey, they were both also executive producers. And
Really?
out of Will Kemp's, I think he's done 6 Hallmark movies. 3 of them have been with Lacey. And they dance in a lot of them. I think it's very interesting. So, what did you rate the characters?
I gave it a 7.
So did I. Did you read my mind?
I liked all the characters, but I felt like there were a lot of them. I mean, they all
Yeah, there were
played
too
a
many.
role, but it just got kind of confusing because all of them were guilty.
Yeah, that's how I
It's
rate
like
these.
Mary was guilty, Tom was guilty, Kevin was guilty.
I don't even remember who that is. Oh,
The people.
yeah, there were too many characters I couldn't keep track, and some of them looked really similar, and I couldn't remember who was who.
I didn't know who Tom or Kevin was. I kept like rewatching and I was like, who is Tom and who is Kevin? So I might have gotten it wrong.
That's okay. All right, moving right along. What about laughs? What did you give us?
6. I thought it was pretty funny in the
I gave
beginning.
it a 6.9, but I didn't feel like I could give it a 7 because it wasn't like Haul Out the Holly or 5-Star
Yeah.
Christmas. It wasn't LOL. But I felt like Will Kemp, who played Sebastian,
He was
he brought
really
the
funny.
humor. He carried the
Yeah.
humor in this movie. And I
Yeah.
love, because a lot of times he plays a very serious British guy. I love the humor that he brought. I felt like there were some funny lines. I don't know if it was off the cuff, but I feel like because they've done so many movies together, they have a really great chemistry. So they could probably ad-lib. So I gave it a 6.9 because I couldn't give it a 7 because it wasn't like one of my favorites.
Yeah, because he was
mysteries.
most like there was a few laughs in like throughout the entire movie, but in the beginning when you first meet him, I laughed a lot. He's
Yes.
like, and shimmy, 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 shimmy.
His accent. The
Oh
way he
yeah, his
did all
English accent
that-
was so
I
funny.
love that he showed us his range there.
That's in the next segment. I have that in
okay,
the next
good.
one.
Well, then we'll talk about what was your overall rating?
7.
I give it a 6.9 because I just couldn't get myself to give it a 7 because it's better than most mysteries. There was comedy, and I love I'm big on comedy. So 6.9, let's go into breaking script. We have 4 segments that we use to break down these Hallmark movies. The first one is What's Love Got to Do with It, where we talk about glimmers, what we love, breaking down the romantic and family relationships. That was tough here, but go ahead, start with glimmers.
Okay, what's love got to do with it? So, I can't read my own handwriting.
Oh my.
Can you go first?
Sure. We start with glimmers usually. And, I forgot the name. I was going to text my friend to ask. But I had glimmers because, did you know that a friend of mine, it was founded by a colleague of ours, but she started teaching ballroom dancing to disadvantaged children. So she would go to public schools where they come from a lower socioeconomic background, and she would teach 5th graders specifically ballroom dancing.
Wow.
Because it would teach manners, it would teach appropriate touch, and it would teach a lot of great character qualities and values, and it changed a lot of lives. And
I'm so bad at dancing.
That's not true.
Oh, like dancing, like formal dancing, like they had in this movie, like the tango.
When have you tried? It takes practice, sweetheart. You are a dancer. You have a natural talent.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about ballet.
But you just haven't done ballroom dancing.
No, I haven't done. That's what I meant, ballroom.
Which, after watching my friend's program, I was like, maybe one day we'll try. That could be fun. Anyways, that was my glimmer. Go ahead. She's anxious to go.
Because I just.
Are you ready now? Go ahead.
Okay, so in the beginning, when Anna tells Bailey that Sebastian is only a star in his own eyes.
You like
that? Like he thinks he's a star, but really he's not.
That's in my Oi with the Poodles. Let's talk about that later. Yes.
The big laughs was when Sebastian was helping the old people dance. He just goes around the room doing like strange movements. Like he put out his arm and then he was like pretending like he was just strumming a guitar, saying yes, yes, yes. And he's like, and then there's this one couple dancing. He's like, oh, let me in. And it was so weird. He's like a third wheel. And he's just waving his arms. He's like, and shimmy.
And so basically your glimmers are comedic moments.
Yeah.
Yes, which I find very funny. We're very similar because I wrote down, I like the part where they said, where Sebastian tells Bailey, you lie very well. And she says immediately, without pausing, you are a constant delight. And all he says is, oh, I see what you did there. And she says, maybe I should be an actor. How hard could it be? The way, how quickly those lines came out without explanation was very Gilmore Girl-esque. I hope that's not offensive to the Palladinos, because obviously the Gilmore Girl writing knocks this out of the ballpark. But it was Gilmore Girl-esque. I appreciated the quick, witty lines that were delivered very quickly. I appreciated that part. I liked, again, that they had the chemistry to be able to do that. You had more in regards to that? Go ahead.
Wait, not in regards to that.
Oh, okay, move on.
But please. I just have one. So, when they were driving in the car, and he was just trying out different accents.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, using, like, a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
It was just really funny.
I loved all the accents. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Keep going.
Yeah. And then I have one more. So when he told her to watch TV, and so she turned something on, and it was like in their scenario.
Yeah. Well,
and then she was dreaming it. And then when she woke up, she was just kissing her pillow, and he saw the entire thing.
Yeah. They delivered that really well. I love the comedic moments also. I think on a more serious note, because I don't have a lot to comment here on the relationships, really. Do you have anything about that?
About?
Because this is also the segment where we talk about point out healthy things in family relationships or friendships and
I forgot about that.
romantic relationships. Anyways, all I will say, I had one more glimmer before I go into the more serious, is the water scene. I was curious if the water scene works like ankle weights. First of all, I was impressed that they could do that. I don't see how they could have kept a straight face. If there were bloopers, I would imagine there was a lot of bloopers in that water scene because it must have been really funny. But I wonder if that's like a real, like, I think that in working out, being in water, you know how, like, when you play basketball, if you wear ankle weights, it makes you, after you take them off, like, you jump higher. Like, I wonder...
I've like felt that before when I've had something heavy, like a weighted blanket, for instance.
Yeah.
If you've had sometimes I just fold it and then I just put it on my lap.
Yeah.
And then when I get up, I'm like, I'm flying.
Yeah.
I haven't had ankle weights, but I've done that before. So I definitely.
Blankets. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you like weighted blankets?
I love weighted blankets. It feels like somebody's hugging me.
Aww.
Or it feels like my dog
That's
is
like
laying on me.
Regulating your nervous system. I love it. Opening up your windows of tolerance. The only thing that I would point out that I thought was serious is I've heard that ballroom dancing teaches you a lot about yourself. Like when he was talking about breaking the central connection. And I thought it was hilarious that they actually tied that into how she caught the criminal. Like, it was a little cheesy, but still, like,
and she kept
that's
a straight
a full
face
circle
the
moment.
Entire time.
She totally did. I was proud of her. Yeah.
He was like, good job
True
breaking the central connection. She was like,
Yeah. I appreciated that.
Okay, she did crack a smile.
Let's move to the second segment then. Don't go chasing waterfalls, where we talk about unhealthy behaviors and coping mechanisms. What do you have here?
So I feel like when Mary kissed, I think it was Kevin, suddenly. I mean, they were engaged at one point, but...
No, she was cheating on her husband. That's obviously unhealthy. I would count that as unhealthy for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and then... So Judy Maxwell, the maid, she did not want to do more than just, like, getting the papers for Jennifer Tate.
Yeah.
But Jennifer pushed her.
Yeah.
And she really didn't want to do that. She's like, okay, fine, but I'm charging extra.
That's not knowing your boundary.
Yeah. I mean, she shouldn't have done it anyway, but I guess it was probably for the money that she was offering her.
Well, she was doing corporate espionage, but she didn't realize she would be involved in something that was criminal activity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then Mary, so at one point in the movie, she said to Kevin, I almost miss him. She was talking about Mark Aston. She's like, I almost miss him. And he said, no, you don't. And she's like, does that make me a bad person? He's like, no. He wasn't a nice man, and he didn't make you happy. And she's like, well, he did make us rich. She said, well, he did make me rich. He's like, us. He made us rich. I was like...
These were just really,
poor Mark.
Like, exaggerated. Obviously, these are not good things.
Yeah, and it's like everyone benefited from Mark Aston's death.
Yeah.
So I was like confused. I was like, was it the spouse? Was it Kevin?
Yeah.
Was it Tom? Jennifer?
It could have been anyone.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, I mean, obviously, do you think we pull out the Nardar here because maybe Mark was a narcissist that made everybody's life miserable?
Yeah, because they said he was a workaholic. He worked himself and everyone into the ground, literally. I thought that was kind of weird. At the beginning, when they first checked into the hotel, you know that it was a different maid. She came, and she was kind of suspicious. Like,
no, that maid was Judy Maxwell.
No, it was a different maid.
Oh. No, it was Judy. It was supposed to be Judy.
What do you mean?
The one when he died? And she
No, not that one.
Oh, sorry. It was a different one?
Yeah. When they were talking to... At the beginning of the movie. Oh,
yes, that other maid. Yes.
The
head... Maybe she was the head maid. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Ugh, I
Anyways.
lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
I think I have it in a different paper.
Okay, do you want me to keep talking?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay in the segment?
I don't have anything else in this segment, so you can just...
Go on to the next one.
Or, if you have anything in yours.
The only thing that I have here was that it's a very overdone trope that Lacey often plays, and I don't know that I've seen her as any other type of character. And I'm wondering, like, does art mimic life or life mimic art here? Like, is this because this is how Lacey is? In that case, I relate and we could be friends. But where she talks about, that she likes things to be a certain way. She seems like a type A person, likes things to be a certain way.
She said self-sufficient.
Self-sufficiency can be, sometimes it's necessary and can work in your favor, but it can often be unhealthy too, because then you don't end up having a hard time identifying your needs and wants, which end up meaning that you have a hard time establishing boundaries.
Like, in some movies, they're saying if you want something done right, do it yourself. And I'm pretty sure that's what she had in her mind because of what happened in her life.
It's so true.
Because she relied on her mother, which you should, because it's your parents.
But she couldn't.
But, yeah, when she was 14, she couldn't anymore. And she felt like she put too much truth.
Coping mechanisms.
I said too much truth. I meant too much trust.
Okay, well then let's move on to the Aigu Oi with the Poodles already, where we talk about plot holes, continuity issues, the wait whats, and what we didn't like.
Okay. So, I feel like it doesn't make it super clear who put the poison in his cup. Like, the maid in that situation was innocent. Like,
sure.
I knew that was probably Jennifer. But didn't clear that up. Like,
it was Barbara.
Oh right, I'm getting them.
You're getting all the people.
I'm getting all the people.
This is why it got the rating it got, because it's just it's one of those where after you watch it you're like, wait, what? You don't really remember the details.
So Barbara was the main.
Yes, she was the one that killed him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But basically everyone was suspicious.
This is why it's a what we don't like, because it's a wait, what? Because we can't keep it all straight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do one really fast. Because remember when you said when Bailey was told Sebastian used to be famous, but he didn't act like he thought he was still famous or still had it. In fact, I felt like it was the opposite. He was really humble, and that's why he teaches the elderly dance, because he was
he thought he had
Vera. Yeah.
He thought that he had achieved a certain amount of fame. That's what he said.
Didn't act.
Yeah, he didn't act like that.
It just didn't. It didn't flow for me. It didn't make sense. But anyways, what else do you have here? I can do one more if you need to think about it.
Oh yeah.
There were just little things. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I think it was Kevin and Mary, they were talking about, I didn't like how they were talking about the benefits. So they were talking about the benefits that they could both get. Wait. No, that was Jennifer and Tom.
Yeah, see, that's why this is so confusing.
Jennifer and Tom, they were talking about the benefits.
Already.
And, oh yeah, Jennifer, so she was evil. I mean, everyone was kind of evil. Oh my gosh, my question doesn't make sense.
It's okay.
I'm trying to piece together all the puzzles.
But that's why this is an I Go Oi with the Beatles, because it's just there's too many, and then you start to get all confused.
So Tom and Kevin were conspiring, and Mary was helping them. Barbara poisoned him.
Yes.
And Jennifer, I forgot what Jennifer did.
It's okay.
Forgot what Jennifer did, but I put Tom. Where is he? But then I forgot that Tom and Kevin were conspiring together. Conspiring.
Oh wait, go ahead.
So, if Jennifer... Actually, never mind. That doesn't make sense. Sorry.
Okay, we're moving on to the last segment, which is Jayo Paiting Happily Ever After, which is what we think happens after the movie and who we are rooting for. What do you got here?
Okay.
Oh my.
So, I always want them to have kids. Well, not always, but in some cases, I kind of want them to have, like, kids.
Get married and have kids?
Yeah,
like,
get married and have
that's
kids.
That's the happily ever after? Okay.
But then again...
Oh, she's got a joke. This girl's full of jokes. Go ahead.
But then again...
Share with them your aha moment.
Why do you want kids? Some parents might reason with their kids. No, I mean, for instance, to get a tattoo. They might say, they're expensive, they're permanent, if they hurt, and you might get addicted and want another tattoo. But then they say that you should have kids. I mean, kids are expensive, kids are permanent, and kids hurt, and you could get addicted. It's very possible.
This kid. What am I going to do with her?
But some people also say that tattoos are bad. Like, they represent bad things, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm older, I might want to get a tattoo that says perseverance, love, and hope.
Wow.
And that's not bad. Because it's close to, I'm basing it off of Corinthians 13:13.
Very good.
2 Corinthians 13. But instead of faith, hope, love,
Are you talking
it's
about
perseverance, love,
1
hope.
Corinthians? But that's okay.
The 1 Corinthians, oh my goodness. Yeah, 1 Corinthians.
So you're
But-
saying that just like tattoos, kids sometimes can be bad, but not always.
Yeah, like, yeah. Take me, for example.
This kid. Gonna be a writer one day.
I have one more.
Okay, go ahead.
I kind of liked how it ended with them dancing. Like, that was very smooth.
It sure
It was like, but we didn't get to do the dance.
And they actually got to perform
And
a dance.
then I was like, it looked a bit different than what they practiced in the water.
This is true. But
They didn't.
they still got to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like, did they do this just so like they could perform all these dance numbers? It feels like a lot of extra work because you have to practice the dances too.
Maybe it was fun.
I hope they enjoy. I hope like Lacey. I feel like Will, it's natural for him. I think he's a dancer. I'm wondering if Lacey, it's natural now for her too because she's done this a couple times with him. But anyways, I wrote, I don't even know. I don't feel like I really care because it wasn't To Catch a Spy, like good mystery. Did you know that even though your brother watched it with you, he watched it with me? Because we were deciding if we were going to break script with To Catch a Spy or if it was going to be Deadly Tango.
I feel like mysteries are more harder to pick apart.
It is. But,
Like
and the reason
love.
why we had to pick was because for Love and Honey, Nana refused to even finish watching the movie, but I had to tell her I had to finish watching because I just wanted to see. It actually got better after you stopped watching because you stopped watching when they were eating. But here's the thing. At least they were eating. With those other people that were so welcoming and they're like, that's okay, you're a family. Okay, listen. In order to do our boba breaks, I need you to inspire me and tell me about what food there is there. And they did that. They told us that Malta was all about honey, and that's a real thing. Did you know that
when she was feeding him honey on like a...
No, they have these things called honey rings, which I love because they're actually a Christmas time pastry that Malta is known for. But apparently now they have them year round. It doesn't quite look like a donut. I would love to know what the texture is, like describe it to me. But they had this a honey ring contest at the end of the end of the movie, the Love and Honey movie.
Like they make their own honey rings?
No, they had in order to get more business, they had people bring their pastries. It was like a smart marketing thing. Anyways, I just thought it was really interesting. And not only that, but they gave us, I feel like, some home-cooked dishes in Malta. I felt like that's what that was. Like, they had the fish. And remember, I can't remember what they called it, but they were like, it's like mac and cheese, but better. Yes, honey and mac and cheese? Sign me up. Like, that's going to be on our boba break. So now you have to watch it to do our boba break.
Okay.
Anyhow, that's... Like, if you're going to do this again, like, at the end when Will Kemp, his character Sebastian, hinted, like, where are we going to go next? Paris, London, Broadway? I'm like, you better be, like, telling us what to eat when you go to these places. Better scenery shots and all the things. So that's what I had to say about that. Anyhow, any final thoughts or quotes here?
I don't think so.
Next on Passport to Love with Hallmark, which is the Hallmark movies, the new Hallmark movies. There's a new Hallmark movie every Saturday in June. That's part of what they called their Passport to Love, which I love because it contributes to our boba breaks. So you're going to hear about AAPI movies on one boba break, the June Passport to Love movies on another boba break, and I cannot even believe that I'm saying this already, but before the end of June, there will be a Christmas in July boba break where Hallmark makes Christmas movies.
That matches your personality. You're always singing Christmas songs when it's not Christmas.
What? What are we talking about here?
You always sing Christmas songs when it's not Christmas. When it does come to Christmas, you barely sing them.
What?
Actually, no. I think it's all year round.
Yes, it's year round. Well, thanks for breaking script with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for breaking script with us. Please share this episode on your socials and tag at the Breaking Script Podcast. Follow it and hit the notification bell button so you never miss an episode. If you haven't yet, please rate and review an Apple Podcast so we can spread more Hallmark glimmers with the world. We'll see you next time. Bye. Jayo.